after spawning in as a Beta-7 commander, the first thing I did was basically ran to the attachments to run to the workshop to get some attachments on there. And for the attachments, I chose more the gold colors, considering my color. I thought gold would be appropriate for being Beta-7, because that is their whole theme they have going on here. Now, even though I am alone, I am, however, a commander, and I do have, some advantages. The hazmat suit, be able to black gas, and also, be able to pick up the 409. Not to mention, I have a very good assault rifle. So, yeah, even though I am alone, I think I still have a good chance. Besides, I am a commander. Commanders can, do things alone without their men, hopefully. So once I, came in, entered through the Site 19, the first thing I did was basically try to run over to 409. I didn't go for the micro because there was no SCPs in this round. The reason why is because the player count was like very, very low. Like there was like 6 or 7 people playing that day. It was quite low despite the server being out for a couple of days. But it was still alright. It was still doable, still playable. Even if there was very few people. So yeah, instead of going for the micro, for the 409 thing, because just in case I wanted to ice somebody, So once I got to the elevator, I used my special Beta-7 key card to help me get in. Yes, that's right. The Beta-7 get a special little, fancy key card for being a fancy special class. Once I got through the elevator, I basically opened the door and grabbed the 409, so now I had a special ice weapon to use. Getting that ice weapon, the first thing I decided to do was go near light, because that's where Class D's were. Because despite there being few people, there are still a bit of Class D's running about. I had to take, me being MTF, I had to take care of them all. Now here in the Tesla, I decided to wait in place for a bit, see who was coming out. And sure enough, the person that came out was a person in a blue hazmat suit, not a yellow one like me, not a stylish yellow like me. However, as I asked them to take off their suit, the first thing they did was kind of try to give me a bit of a bribe to let them go. But you see here, I wasn't going to accept the bribe because again, as an MTF, gotta take care of all those Class Ds. It's my, especially as a commander, it's my duty not to accept bribes. I gotta do my duty. So, doing the brave thing I did, I gunned down an innocent, I gunned down an unarmed Class D, like the brave soul I am, basically sent him to Brazil. Well, his body to Brazil, because, it vanished in thin air, and all that was left was a pool of blood, indicating he was dead, just his body's gone. But yes, I took down the fearsome unarmed Class D. Yes, I know, I am quite the hero, and I deserve a medal for my triumphs, for my brave, brave actions. Now, even though I did gun down that Class D, there was kind of a problem though. There was an unknown subject that came into the facility, and there was leaving that be a kind of a problem. You see, unlike the Class Ds, this unknown subject is actually unarmed and helpless. He actually has a gun and proves a threat. A bit more tougher than a unarmed Class D. Make me worried a bit. So. However, even though, there is an unknown force in the facility, I decided, to head an entrance nonetheless, but with care, but of course with care so that way I don't get, jumped and, gunned down. However, even though I approached the facility, you know, I approached through heavy of care, I did not come across the unknown hostile, you know, despite, you know, going, you know, getting nearing the entrance zone. It was all pretty much clear. And I didn't find any. But as I reached entrance zone, basically the evacuation was started. So the first thing I did was ran to Gate A, see maybe it's, you know, there being Class D's or unknown forces over there. However, as I approached Gate A, I saw the elevator was still down, meaning that no one really came up, and not to mention, you know, looks like, you know, no one went through Gate A, which was a surprise because usually Gate A is very busy. Gate A is usually the spot where everyone goes to because it leads to all sorts of places, like the MTF helicopter, if you want to destroy or evacuate, or the chaos evacuation. Basically, a good middle ground. Also, especially for Serpent Hand, but you know, there was no Serpent Hand or SCPs, I guess, so it was pretty much all empty. Kind of sad, but you know, it is what it is. I decided to check the tower a bit, see if there was a Chaos Demo Man waiting, however, but when I went up, I saw there was pretty much nothing, you know, again, so seeing that the tower was safe, I decided to head to the helicopter area a bit, to wait evacuation. Instead of waiting by the helicopter, I decided to wait in the lower ground area. The reason why is because there was a chance that there could be a chance that not only a demo man could pop up, you know, while I'm over there, but also, you know, like Class D or other hostile force. So trying to keep guard, I basically, you know, like wait near the ground. Because like not only is it, you know, closer shot, it's also much more easier to see them from the helicopter. Because if you try look at the tower from the helicopter, it's all like foggy because, you know, line of sight vision doesn't go far in this server. It's actually it's a little bit short, so people can't really snipe. But yeah, it's a lot more shorter. However, when I heard the 30-second marker, I decided to ram back to the helicopter, knowing I was pretty much safe. Knowing that, you know, the helicopter would be, you know, would be safe. After waiting for a bit and, you know, having a little bit of a glitch as the helicopter moved up, I did evacuate and escaped. While two other Class Ds, you know, were in a bit more of an unfortunate position than me, as the nuke ended up getting them. However, you know, even though there wasn't much, you know, I did secure the site from the dreadful unarmed Class D, so, you know, there's that. I know it wasn't, you know, much, but hey, you know, it's something, I guess. So maybe the Foundation will give me a medal for that.